Hey folks, my name is Jen, and today we're gonna do something that's slightly different. This is not only about books, books will be mentioned in here, but I wanted to just do like a check-in video about, I don't know what to call this, summertime vibes, I guess? Like, what my particular summertime vibes and like things I've been into over the past like couple of months. So yeah, here we go. First up, I made a little list for myself. First up is all like listening things, like things I've been listening to lately and really been into. Things that I've just recently been listening to, only like starting this past week or so, has been first of all reggae. I've been listening to a little bit more reggae. I feel like that's a pretty good summer vibin' music. I think that's what most people think of when you think of summertime oftentimes. I have listened to just a teensy bit in the past, and it was mostly like related to Bob Marley. So I had listened to a couple of his songs recently and was like, you know what, I don't really know anything other than just these specific songs, and I want to listen to more of it. So I have been checking more of that out and enjoying. I also started listening to Jimmy Buffett. Jimmy Buffett his music is not something that I've ever really gravitated towards, especially considering that I really don't like the song Margaritaville. I find it to be a particular annoying earworm that just gets stuck in my head and I can't get it out and it annoys me. So I haven't really delved deeper into any of his other music because that one annoys me so much. But decided to give it a little more of a chance, and while I do not like his earlier stuff when he was most definitely leaning towards like country music, some of his newer things have been a jam. I'm still working my way through his albums. I'm currently in like 1980 something or other, I think, with albums, and so far my favorite song is Cheeseburger in Paradise. It's pretty great, it's playful, you should definitely give it a listen. Other things that I have been into. I have been listening to this album pretty much, well, not non-stop because I'm listening to other things too, but at least every other day I am listening to this album again, and it is Vaxis 2. Actually, hold on. The full album. Okay, sorry. The full album name is Vaxis 2, A Window of the Waking Mind, and this is the latest album by Coheed and Cambria. If you don't know anything about Coheed and Cambria, basically, what are they classified as? I think they're technically classified as prog rock, but they've done like a lot of different stuff. They kind of hop between indie, prog rock, metal, pop punk, classic. They kind of meld and jump between those, and they work entirely off of concept albums. Basically, each album is relating to one section of an overarching story that they have involving the characters or things surrounding the characters, Coheed and Cambria. Coheed and Cambria are two characters within the overarching story that they have written. And I think it's mostly the brainchild of Claudio Sanchez, who is the lead in the band, but I think the others have contributed as well. But basically, yeah, they are a concept band. They worked off of concept albums. I have read the summary of all of the stories, and while I think that's super interesting, there's a lot going on, so it is hard to kind of summarize and explain. I would highly suggest you look it up yourself, because I still kind of get things mixed up because there's like a couple of different timelines going on. Remember where this particular album sits within the timeline. I think this might be like a prequel, perhaps. But I don't know what it is about this album. And I like their other albums. I've been listening to them for a while now. And like a couple of my friends from college were like super into Coheed and Cambria, and then I ended up like listening to the music and really liking it and getting into them. So yeah, I've liked their other stuff, but there's just something about this album that I just cannot shake. I am obsessed. I pretty much love almost every single song. Beautiful Losers, Comatose, Love Murder One, Blood, Bad Man, A Disappearing Act, Shoulder. They're all so good. I think my favorite is probably The Liars Club. It fucking rocks. It is a jam. And yeah, so it is Vaxis 2, A Window of the Waking Mind by Coheed and Cambria, and I just fucking love this album. And I don't think it's quite as like hardcore as some of their other stuff, so I think also maybe it would be a good introductory album perhaps for someone if you don't care about what's going on with the storyline, I guess. Other things that I have been listening to and super into. Also, vintage French music. I don't know why I have been listening to vintage French music exactly. Well, actually, I take that back. I do know why. I was listening to lo-fi. Sometimes I get in these moods where I want to listen to lo-fi, so I was listening to chill beats lo-fi, and also ocean lo-fi, which has a very summery kind of sound to a lot of them. And at one point I ended up on vintage lo-fi, and it's like 50s, 60s kind of music, and there was like a French song on there, so I started listening to randomly vintage French music, and I don't know what it is about it, but there's something like so cozy about it. Like if I'm just reading or if I'm writing, it feels like, I don't know, it's like nighttime cafe ASMR in a sense. Is just kind of how it feels. And I don't know, the only one I can name is La Vie en Rose, and that's pretty much the only song I can name off the top of my head. I cannot name any of the others, but I just really love the sound and everything. And I don't know like any French whatsoever. I mean, I know Parlez-vous français, and I know that fromage is cheese, and that's pretty much the extent of my French. So when they're singing things, I don't know what the hell they're saying, but I'm just really enjoying it. All of these things like the vintage French music, like playlists and stuff, and like all the lo-fi, I found all of these on Spotify just looking stuff up, so they're all in there if you also want to check them out. Other things I've been listening to. So there's a couple of podcasts that I've been really into lately. One of them I might have mentioned previously perhaps, and that is Dungeons and Daddies. This is a podcast that's been running for, oh gosh, a while now, I think. Basically 4 players and DM, and they are playing a loosely based, I forget what version of Dungeons and Dragons they're playing, but it's very loosely based. They're not like strictly following it. They're kind of putting their own flair on some things. But basically they have created this world in which these 4 dads have been transported in a minivan to this other world, and their sons have been taken from them, and they have to go around this world trying to locate their sons so they can, you know, find them, save them, and hopefully try to figure out how to get back home. Meanwhile, shenanigans are happening. A lot of people are dying through their complete and utter incompetence. And it is a crazy good time. It is absolutely freaking hilarious. So it is called Dungeons and Daddies. It is not a BDSM podcast, except for those occasions when suddenly it is. I would say if you are someone who has not played D&D before, if you have played D&D before, or if it's something where you don't know if you want to play it, or you know, you might not be interested in, but you're still kind of curious, I think it's a good way to listen to a podcast so you get kind of a vague idea of how things go, but it's also incredibly entertaining. Another podcast that I have really been into lately is Vintage Homicide. This is run by Miss Ruby Wild and Miss May Day. These are not their real names. These are nom de plumes they have chosen. They are two forensic scientists who are really into the vintage like lifestyle and stuff, and I think they also, it sounds like they also partake in like kind of pinup photography and stuff like that, because they're interested in vintage like clothing and lifestyle stuff, but then they also take part in like this pinup calendar that raises money. It's like a charity thing that they raise for helping veterans. So that's really cool. But yeah, they're two forensic scientists and they are covering vintage crimes, vintage homicide specifically. So they will cover a whole bunch of old cases and kind of look at it from their own particular specific point of view as forensic scientists. So they'll talk about like how things are handled now, but then they'll also go into, well, this is how forensics were handled back in the day when forensics was still like an early science and everybody was still figuring things out, or maybe it wasn't like an official thing yet. So they will go into basically like the early days of forensics and how this began. So then they can also kind of go into, well, because of these wonderful advances that various scientists and everybody did back in the day, this is why we have the field of forensic science today that, you know, still needs advances to be made, but has come like a really long way from what it used to be. It's really cool. There's a lot of dad jokes that are told in there, which are pretty great. I'll say it gets, you get some kind of gross details. It's not like incredibly gory, but they do talk about some things that if you think that's gonna be a problem, like stuff about like post-mortem stuff or like different ways of killing people are talked about, if you think that's gonna bother you, maybe, I don't know, just be aware of when things are getting a little, sound like they're getting gross in the podcast. I haven't been like too bothered by things, but then again, I tend to get more bothered by visual examples than like auditory, so. But if you were into vintage like crime and stuff like that, I would suggest you like give it a listen. I find it really entertaining, and I also really like that they will also do deep dives into different things in the day. For example, one of their episodes was the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory disaster, and they also went into the history of the building itself to give more context on what poor condition it was in, and they also discussed largely what shirtwaists were and why they were created and what they were made of and the history of that thing, which is also like really good context for that kind of thing as well. So yeah, really enjoying that. Other things that I have been into. I have been doing Duolingo Spanish lessons. I know Duolingo is not like the best. Everybody's been bitching about it and saying that Babbel is a lot more better. Well, I'm not made of money, so I don't want to spend the money on Babbel when I know me, and I know that it's not something that I can easily get to every day. I feel like it's a waste of my money personally if I am paying for something and I'm not using it every day. Whereas Duolingo, I'm using the free version, and so if I skip like a week or something, I don't feel extra shitty about it, like I'm wasting my money or something. But yeah, so I've just been doing these lessons. I did used to be really good at Spanish, definitely not fluent, but I did know a passable enough amount when I was graduating from high school, and unfortunately due to not using it, I've lost a good chunk of it. But with these lessons, actually some of it has been coming back to me, which has been pretty great. I still get confused by some things here and there, but it's been a really great refresher, and I've also been learning a few new phrases that, you know, we hadn't really covered in school before. So what else have I been into? Summertime things. I bought this in like, I think May or something. I got this like, I don't remember where I got this. Michael's? Maybe it was even the grocery store. I think it might have been the grocery store. This has been my receptacle of choice for drinks, alcoholic drinks, non-alcoholic drinks. Right now it has ice water, or mostly just water. The ice is melted because it's really freaking hot in here. Another drinking thing though, this puppy that I cracked open earlier, it is truly hard seltzer. This is black cherry. I haven't had these before. Well, I've had these before. I just haven't had this flavor before. It's nice. One of my best friends, when she visited like a couple of months ago, she brought a case of these along, and they were really good. And when we just went camping recently and visited her and everything, she had some more. She had like the poolside ones, which are all like, you know, peach Bellini fizz thing or mojito, whatever, margarita stuff. Is really good. So when we went shopping this weekend, I ended up getting some more seltzers because they're good, they're refreshing. They're alcohol, but they're not that much alcohol. And I don't know. I don't think they have a lot of sugar in them. Yeah, they've got like 1 gram of sugar in it. So it's also, I don't feel fully bad about, you know, drinking these often. But not too often, kids. Okay. Other things. Let's see. Oh, other things I've been to. Sunflowers. Sunflower things. This is a fake sunflower, but I don't care because it's freaking adorable. I got this at Michael's. They had a whole bunch of them. I don't know if they're still selling them. But I think they're absolutely adorable, and I got even more like sunflower things, and I don't know, I've just been like super into sunflowers, which is like, I mean, it's summertime obviously, but yeah, that's just my thing lately. And I've, like, my favorite flower of all time is Black-Eyed Susan, which has a similar-ish look to a sunflower, I guess. But I've never been like over the moon about sunflowers, but I don't know, just something lately. I'm just really into them. Things I'm into, I've been playing on the Nintendo Switch. Things I've been playing on the Switch. I've been playing Famicom Detective Club. I have 2 games my hubby bought me a while ago. It's like a Japanese, what would you call it specifically? Almost like, it's not quite a visual novel because there are things that you're like clicking to detect and stuff like that, but it's similar to that in a way. So I have 2 games. I have The Girl Who Stands Behind, which is more of like a horror type thing, I guess, and then I've got The Missing Heir, and The Missing Heir is the one that I have been playing. And I kind of like it. I like the detection about like walking around clicking on things and like you know, it's like the asking the different questions and stuff like that. So I do like that a lot. It kind of reminds me of the Hercule Poirot game. I think it's just for computers. I don't think it's on like the Switch or anything. I think it's like computer specific, but it's for like ABC Murders. I think they have more than one. But the one I've played in the past was ABC Murders, and it kind of reminds me of that, similar in some ways. So that's been a lot of fun. And then, of course, Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is what I've been playing the majority of the time since it came out during the pandemic in 2020. So still playing the Cabin. He's one of my favorite characters, besides like Isabelle and, you know, everybody. Yeah. He is a recent-ish, like, addition, kind of. I can't remember how many months it's been, but he appeared in like a couple of updates ago, I think, and I was really happy because now we can use him to, like, go to different places, and it's great. And then as for reads I've been into lately, I've been doing some comfort reads. Things are funky in this country, and I don't know, I've been doing some comfort reading, which basically consisted of some Roald Dahl, which has been really great. Comfort rereads, listening to some Agatha Christie, which I guess is a strange comfort read, but that's been like audiobooks. And then also I've been doing my summertime reads. So I have tried to focus more on books that have like a lot of travel involved. Like I just read The Illyrian Adventure, that had, you know, adventure and travel involved, or like travel and camping. So I read The Box in the Woods. So it's a camping tale. I've also been reading My Side of the Mountain, which is kind of camping, but the kid like lives in the woods, but it's like very woodsy. I've been focusing on like travel, books that involve travel, books that involve a lot of adventure, books that are kind of involve camping or being outside, books involving like water, seashore stuff, and I'm trying to like focus on those, and I've already picked, I think, my TBR for August based highly on like those kind of vibes, basically. I also started, because I'm reading another Robert Louis Stevenson right now, and it's been a while since I've read this, but again, it's got that like adventure and seashore vibes and everything for the summer. So I just started doing a reread randomly of Treasure Island. Yeah, I was wondering how I would feel about this now as an adult, because I remember when I was younger, I read this right around the time Pirates of the Caribbean came out, and I was obsessed with that movie. So I just remembered really enjoying this, so I was wondering, oh man, am I still gonna like this? And I mean, I'm only like 4 chapters in so far, but yeah, I'm still really enjoying it, so that's cool. I think that is everything on my list. Yeah. So yeah, that was basically everything that I've been into over the summer so far. Things are giving me big summertime vibes. What is giving you guys the summertime vibes? What's been your vibe this summer? What are some stuff that you've been into? Are you into any new things? Is there anything that you particularly love that you're really focused on right now? Do you have any more summertime music that you've been really into that you can recommend or anything? Are there any podcasts that you think I would be interested in based on what I talked about? I don't know. Let me know down below if that's the case, and let me know what you've been into lately as well. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, let me know that too, because maybe, I don't know, I can see how I feel in the fall. Maybe I can do like a fall vibes thing, because fall is like my favorite season, so I can really go all out and talk about like a lot of stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you so wish, and I will see you next time. Bye.